Club is to provide, there we go. The mission of the Women in Product Toastmasters Club is to provide an opportunity for women to develop our product management skills, build and practice communication techniques, and gain leadership experience in a safe, supported, and collegial forum. We are all here because product is our passion. And when we want to transform ourselves from good product managers to great product leaders. Toastmasters International offers a unique educational program and opportunities to focus on many different professional skills, and we aim to put a product spin on that program. Today, most of you will get to experience your first Toastmasters meeting, and we are very grateful to have some seasoned Toastmasters here today, led by Solarzar Della Porta, the District 101 Club Extension Chair. Solarzar is helping us get up and running, and for that we are greatly appreciative. Really quickly, one quick announcement before we start is that this meeting will be recorded with the intent to share after the meeting. And I will hand things over to today's Toastmaster, Solarzar. Thank you, Solarzar.
Thank you very much, Erica. That was a wonderful introduction and helped set the stage for what we're trying to do today. So for those of you who have no familiarity with Toastmasters, Toastmasters International has a vision that empowers people to achieve their full potential and realize their dreams. That's big. Through our clubs, which are individually chartered, we help people throughout the world improve their communication and leadership skills and giving them the courage to change other areas of their lives. So each individual club is an individual entity that forms and frames itself using the Toastmaster program. And what we do in Toastmasters, of course, is we do use public speaking and communication skills development, but we also use feedback. We provide member feedback to our members as a way of encouraging them to change because we're a service organization. We're all about helping others develop their skills to foster their self-confidence and personal growth. And that's the mission of our clubs. So today we're going to give you a scaled down version of a Toastmasters meeting to give you an idea of each of the functions. And I serve, as Erica said, as the Toastmaster of the meeting. I'm kind of like the conductor of the orchestra, and we're going to introduce each of our orchestra participants as we go through the meeting. We're going to start with our functionaries, which help us as we go through the meeting. All of us, as we speak, we have different crutches that we develop over time that we call filler words. And so one of our functions is called the ah counter. And Zhenhong Ji is our ah counter today. And would you please explain your function to everyone so they know what you'll be doing through the course of the meeting?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of our counter is to help a speaker to have an effective speech from our counter perspective. So today my responsibility is to know the words and the sounds that are used as a pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. And I will listen for filler sounds like I will also note down when a speaker repeats a word or phrase, like that means. And at the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Back to you, Ms. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Zhenhong. So as you know, when we develop these unconscious ways of doing things, by being told that we're doing them, we become aware of them. And once we're conscious, we can actually correct them. And unfortunately in Toastmasters, as you go through for a period of time, you will start hearing these in everyone's speech, and sometimes it makes it terribly annoying. We also want to keep ourselves on time, so we actually time our functions to learn to be within prescribed times. And our timer today is Evelyn Bellin. And Evelyn, would you please explain your role today for everyone?
Sure, Solarzar, thank you so much. I am Evelyn Belen, and I will be the timer today. Today, I will be timing and recording the elapsed time of the speakers, which is Lisa, and our speech evaluator, Megan, as well as the table topic participants. And in doing so, for Lisa, she's going to be giving a speech 4 to 6 minutes long. At 4 minutes, I will give her the green cue. And at 5 minutes, I'll give her the yellow cue. And at 6 minutes, I will give her the red cue. With Megan, she will be giving a 2 to 3 minute speech evaluation. She will get the green cue at 2 minutes, yellow cue at 2.5, and the red at 3. For table topics participants, we want to try to get you to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, I'll give the green, 1.5 yellow, and 2 minutes red. And I'll give my report at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Solazar.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. The other thing we do in Toastmasters is we always show appreciation for everyone who speaks. So we're big clappers. You can clap virtually. You can clap physically. You can, if you bang on the table, since you're muted, we're not going to hear you. But so we like to show appreciation for everyone who takes the time to actually speak. As I mentioned earlier, we give feedback to each other to help ourselves improve. That's where we provide service to our own membership and our other Toastmasters. And one of the ways we do that is the evaluation of a speech, as Evelyn mentioned. Megan will be our speech evaluator today. And Megan, would you let us know your role and your objectives as speech evaluator?
Yes, thank you, Solazar. Today, I will be providing constructive feedback to our speaker. One of the things we want to do at Toastmasters is always support, encourage, and help people develop on their journey of public speaking and leadership. The purpose is to help the speaker and everyone in the room recognize how the audience immediately and truly responded to his speech, to give that immediate understanding of how you're impacting the people in the room. Thank you.
And what are the objectives of the speaker today, Megan? Just real quick.
Oh, yeah, sure. So Lisa will be giving her icebreaker speech. And the purpose of an icebreaker speech is to introduce yourself to the club and to learn and develop the basic structure of giving a public speech.
And the title of her speech? Soil and Sky.
Thank you. I didn't realize I was doing all this now. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'm good.
But the title of her speech is Soil and Sky.
Thank you so much there, Megan. I'm sorry. I almost feel like I put you on the spot and didn't mean to. But actually, that brings us to our speaker. As Megan said, Lisa Bennett will be giving her icebreaker speech. It's the first speech every Toastmaster gives in their educational program. And the way our program is structured, we repeatedly give it later on as we start new paths. Today, Lisa will give her icebreaker, 4 to 6 minute speech, Soil and Sky. Please help me welcome Lisa Bennett.
From an early age, I was in love with the soil and everything that lived on it, and I tried to get as close to the sky as possible. When I was very young, my mom could look out the kitchen window and see me playing in the dirt, making mud pies, and watching the ants with their trail that went up into that mound, into the hole that went down. And those big fuzzy bumblebees that dug around in the black throats of the deep red tulips. There's a picture of me with my sister in back of a post and rail fence. She's a year older. I have my little toddler shoes on that were flat on the bottom. I'm halfway up the fence, my poor mother. By 8 years old, I was an accomplished tree climber, and I have my biggest scar to date from falling out of an illicit treehouse. In grade school, I would become the tetherball champion, because think about it, you get to be outside climbing a pole and playing with a ball. When I reached high school, I would join the Future Farmers of America But my mom wouldn't let me have a farm animal because we already had 16 animals in the house. So I asked them, what can I study? They said, you could study plants. I'm in. I bought my first Western garden book and began memorizing Latin plant names and studying the life cycle of a tree. High school was also the first time someone put one of these in my hands. And I said, hey, I've got this. They have liberated the tetherball. And that began a 20-year love affair with competitive volleyball for me. I would graduate with a degree in animal behavior and toddle off to high tech because it was a very bad year to become a teacher in California. Years later, fast forward in high tech, I'm a manager. I am in a graduate program that's taking 20 hours a week of my time, and I'm managing 50 hours a week of my time. I decide to buy land, lots of land. In retrospect, I was a frustrated farmer. I looked in beautiful Sonoma County for months, but didn't find anything there that resonated with me. A friend at work said, why don't you look in Santa Cruz County? I said, it's going to be expensive. He said, it's no worse than Sonoma County. Okay, I went online and did a search, 5 to 25 acres raw land, and I got a hit in the mountains of Aptos. I looked at it the next day. I made an offer on it 3 days later. It was so stunning. There was mist trickling down through the trees and developing into droplets of water that dropped on the wild columbine. It was mine 3 weeks later. And now I have a home here. I live in one of the rarest rainforests in the world. I live close enough to the Watsonville airport that I fly out regularly in a 2-seater plane where I am a student pilot. And when I drive up the road at night, I encounter so many wild animals. Of course, there are deer, skunks, an occasional possum, rodents, hawks, 3 kinds of owls, including the Pacific pygmy owl that never gets taller than 6 inches. There's a family of foxes on my private road. There's an occasional bobcat. You see them going over the edge of the hill when you come upon them with their stubby little tails and their tall hind ends. And one night at 10:35 p.m. on December 26th, a mountain lion walked in front of my car. I never thought I would see such an exquisite apex predator in the wild, so close. When I get to the top of the hill, I'm greeted by my dogs. My cats live indoors, along with my now famous African gray parrot, Monty. And at night, I sleep outside on my deck. I'm flanked by my dogs. And beyond them are the denizens of the forest, with the tallest trees in the world. I feel like I can reach up and touch the sky, and I'm firmly grounded on the soil that was heaved from the sea. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Lisa. That was very wonderful. Now, the next portion of our meeting would be our impromptu speaking portion of the meeting with our table topics master, who is actually not here. So I'm going to take a run at this and see what we can set up. Now, table topics is the impromptu portion of the meeting where we introduce a theme and we talk about different things and we call on different people. But we first introduce a question, call on the people, and then they have 1 to 2 minutes to give us an impromptu answer. And as we know in business, most often we don't know when we're going to be called on and we don't know what we're going to be asked. So this is a very critical development portion of our meeting, is when we actually do the impromptu portion to teach us how to do this. So today, since the unexpected is what we're dealing with because our table topics master is not here, I'm going to use unexpected as our premise. Now, the first question I'm going to throw out to a Toastmaster so they can give a frame for everyone else to see how it's done. And one of the things that I want to ask is that in your joining of Toastmasters, what was your expectations and what did you hope to get out of the experience? And I'm going to ask that to Ansu to please give us an answer.
Thank you for the question, Salazar. I'm sure this year specifically, all of us were playing around with the expectations, and a lot of times we could not meet those expectations because of the situation. Many of our plans would have been canceled and so on. And I think during this time, what I have learned is how to go beyond what you have set as expectations and to accept things and keep learning during that time. And Solaz's question today about what my expectation was when I joined Toastmasters. I actually joined Toastmasters as a teenager. The Toastmasters teenage version was called Gavel Club, and it was super competitive and it was a really fun place. And 10 years down the lane, I thought, like, you know what, I should join the adult club, the Toastmasters club, and I joined my corporate club. I went there, I was greeted with warm smiles, and I was very excited to grow my network within the company itself. What I realized was, I thought it's going to be the same competitive place that I had to deal with when I was during my teenage years. But when I joined Toastmasters, I realized that there are all kinds of people there trying to improve their skills. It felt like a really safe space. And I suddenly realized that it's not always a competition. You can put your best foot forward and keep learning from your mistakes and everybody else's. And building that safe space and understanding that everybody's there to support you is something that I did not expect when I joined Toastmasters, but which is what I gained. And since then, I've always been more open about, talking about probably some personal things which I might have not shared with my team, but at Toastmasters, at Table Topics, I was able to share that. And I think that really changed my expectations of joining Toastmaster Club. And from there, I served as a president, vice president. Currently, I'm an area director for an area in Toastmaster, and the journey has been great. So don't let the expectations drive you. This is my pitch. Come join us and learn from this experience. Over to you, Salazar.
Thank you very much, Ansu. Thank you for that wonderful answer. Ansu also introduced the whole idea, as we've all experienced this year with COVID, everything has shifted, everything has changed. So in-person clubs have now become meeting online clubs through various technologies, predominantly Zoom. But what has really changed in your life this year? What have you done differently in terms of your career or your personal life that was different than you had planned to do before COVID came? And I'd like to ask Patricia from Florida to answer that question for us, please.
Hello. So the question I just want to make sure to confirm is, what was I planning on doing pre-COVID and where am I going now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So thank you for allowing this opportunity. So pre-COVID, like what Anzu was saying, there were a lot of plans set, expectations. And for myself, pre-COVID, I had planned on pursuing management consulting in hospitality, more like in retail and spa and in restaurant, being that it's so prevalent down here in South Florida. COVID hit a couple months later. Everything, well, the restaurant industry wasn't as viable, or like the retail and spa was not as safe as it once was. And so I learned about product management through, I guess, being on LinkedIn, actually. I wanted to see what was the most transferable from like the skills that I was learning and I was utilizing in management, like in a broad sense pre-COVID, and then tech seemed very viable. So I was like, how do I get there? And then what skills do I need to develop? Who's my target audience? How do I need to carry myself? And so that led me here. Being around a group of women who want to better themselves every day in the industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patricia. See, so that was, you gave your very first Toastmaster presentation. You did so very, very well. So that's something else you weren't expecting pre-COVID. I'm quite sure.
Thank you.
One of the many things that I find fascinating about Toastmasters, at least in this area, most of the team is from the California area within our district, which is north of San Jose down to Soledad, so a big chunk of the state. But what I love is the diversity of people that we encounter. So in our daily work, we may not have that diversity. We may just have kind of a sameness, but what a great diversity of people we come across in dealing with this. And many of them are English as second language people. And I do know that we have one member who's actually interested in this group because of English as a second language. And Diana, I'd like to ask what you hope to get from participating in the club and improving your language skills. Diana from Mexico.
Hi, nice meeting you all. Well, yeah, one of my goals is improve my skills communicating in a language that is not my mother language. And second of all, it's have confidence with public speaking. Sometimes I'm very shy and I don't know how to come up with words that are engaging. So I really want to find a safe place where I can practice and improve my skills. And that helped me to move forward in my career. And also learn a lot from product management from a lot of talented women here.
Well, thank you so much, Diana. Thank you for doing that. See, being shy, hopefully that felt a little uncomfortable, but comfortable enough. You certainly did well sharing that with us. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
And really the point of all this is that it's not, if you notice, nothing damaging happened to anybody by answering a table topics question. They're all still here and they're doing fine. And now they've got over that initial fear. That's an initial thing that we all get through. One of the things that I've always found fascinating, I was fortunate to travel around the country. I've been in 33 of the 50 states for different periods of time and had an opportunity to see different things. While I'm a terrible tourist, I do like to visit places that have some historical significance. And I'd like to know what it's like to live in a historical city. And I'm going to call on Lily to let me know what it's like living in Boston and what she appreciates most about it. Maybe that's not the same Lily that's here. So I'll just move on. So how about?
Yes, I live in Vancouver right now, so.
Oh, okay. Well, tell us about
I don't know
Vancouver.
So I'm actually originally from Japan, so I don't know if I can speak from how it's like to live in Vancouver as a Canadian, because I'm Japanese.
Were you,
However,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was born in Japan and raised in Japan. I find the city, I came here originally thinking that it's very similar to American West Coast cities, such as San Francisco or Seattle. But after coming here, I realized there was so much similarity between Japan and Canada, more than US and Canada, US and Vancouver. One thing I realized was conservativeness or politeness or a bit like reservedness of people. And I didn't really necessarily associate it with this characteristic growing up. So I kind of experienced being between these two different culture of North American culture, and also a bit of this reservedness existed. So that was my experience living in Vancouver. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Lily. And I want to thank Lily and Diana and Patricia, as well as Ansu. And thank you, Ansu, for correcting me that it's woman in product, not project. And I apologize for saying that. But I want to point out that when you're asked a table topic question, you noticed each of our 4 participants did it a little differently, but they all did a proper thing. You can take the question, you can reframe it to another question, you can answer a previous question, you can answer the question asked. But I want to thank everyone for your participation, which leads us now to our evaluation portion of the meeting. We're going to get to hear from Megan Mayer, her evaluation of the speech given to us by Lisa Bennett. So Megan, please go ahead.
Thank you, Solar Czar. And Lisa, thank you for your speech. Soil and Sky. Thank you for this terrific introduction to yourself. I'm going to share 3 things where you clearly excel and master as an experienced Toastmaster. 2 items that I think would help expand this speech, and 1 that would be a way to really knock it out of the park and take it to the level that you demonstrate to us in your speech. First of all, the physical structure for your speech, your background, your framing, your body language are all superb. You're clearly an experienced Toastmaster, and not everyone in the room would know that you have done quite well in contests, but it's very clear. The use of your background with the trees was great as a way of giving us a little bit of a clue to the heights to which you'll be taking us. Second thing I love is your structure. The way you structured this story, Soil and Sky, and taking us on these repeated ascensions, it's just terrific. And the way you described the tiny little ants, and then all the way to these great majestic trees. You demonstrate an elevating spirit through the process. And you also use this parallel of giving us your personal life story through this almost spiritual ascension, almost a spiritual story of how you've climbed through the growth of the animals, from the ants to the pygmy owls, all the way up to the mountain lions, to the flat Sonoma County rolling hills, to then these majestic mountains with the trees, and then yourself from playing in the mud to a ball that occasionally gets in the sky, to the trees that reach up to the sky, to actually flying in the sky. Terrifically done and well structured. 2 things I would recommend are you use vocal variety very well. And I would encourage you to continue expanding that and practicing that. You develop this kind of airy quality to your voice when you described your peaks, the volleyball, the trees, the mountain lion. And also, I think a second thing is that you are doing a good job creating this suspenseful moment. You're suspending the joyful moment by the use of your voice. Keep that up, and I would keep exploring that to see other ways that you can communicate this joy, this rich, deep joy. And that brings me to my take it to the stars comment. And that would be, yep, thank you. That would be for you to dig a little bit deeper into what the source of this joy is for you. I noticed that your language was very grounded. You would talk about the trees using real concrete words. But what I was sensing was a very spiritual experience from you. I would go ahead and dive in and explore that, because we get to see a really wonderful side of you that I think might still be veiled. So that would be a way I would encourage you to take this to the stars. Lisa, fabulous speech. I always enjoy your speeches. You're a very seasoned Toastmaster. And I do want to remind the room that this is not a typical icebreaker, because Lisa is such a well-seasoned speaker. This is a very superior icebreaker. And I want to tell the room that I will be posting in the chat the blank form that I use to give this evaluation. This is a form that Toastmasters provides to us, and this is the most basic evaluation for the very first speech, where the speaker is just introducing herself and sharing and learning the basic structure, so that we have a form for every single speech project that helps us evaluate our speakers. Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Well, thank you so much, Megan. What a wonderful evaluation. And thank you for posting the form. And that's an important point, is that because Toastmasters is an educational program, there is a form, there is a process, there is a guideline for everything we do. You can speak about almost anything, but there's a guideline for how to go about doing it. So you get to do this at your own pace, at your own rate, with guidelines. You're not left hanging. So Evelyn, please tell us how we did on time today.
Okay, thank you, Salazar. Megan, Lisa, your speech, I timed at 5 minutes, 7 seconds. Megan, your speech evaluation and information to the audience, I timed at 4 minutes, 52 seconds. Very informative, thank you. Our table topics participants, Ansu, I timed you at 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Patricia Lee, I timed you at 1 minute, 48 seconds. Diana Huerta, you were just shy of a minute at 53 seconds. And Lily, you were timed at 1 minute, 29 seconds. Great job, everybody.
Okay, thank you so very, very much. And for those who answered the table topics question, of course, the 1 minute is the minimum requirement for what we call qualifying, but it's wonderful to actually get anything out there. I'll bet you that 53 seconds felt like an eternity, though, didn't it? that extra 7 seconds might have seemed to stretch at the moment, but I want to thank all of you for your participation again. Wonderful job. And thank you, Evelyn, for doing such a wonderful job. And now, Zhang Hong, tell us how we did on our filler words with our ahs, our ums, and everything else.
Thank you, Ms. Toastmaster. We did a good job on the filler words perspective. Salazar, I was trying to find some filler words from your speech, but I only find one, so it might be not necessary. And Lisa, our speaker, I did not hear any filler words from her. That's very well, good, well done job. Ashu, our table topic speaker, she is experienced Toastmaster. I only find one N and one very good. Patricia, she used the and then 2 or 3 times, but I noticed she was good at pause while she was thinking, and when she didn't know what to say. That's very good skill. Diana, I only noticed the one end from her speech. And Lily, I heard a few filler words about so and but just a very few. Megan evaluation, it was a great speech actually. And I only heard several when you were introducing evaluation at the beginning of the meeting, and one while you are doing the evaluation. Our president, Erica, when you were introducing the club or the mission at the beginning of the meeting, I heard a few those are very normal. That's my report. Thank you, Ms. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jean Hong. One of the things that the meeting is all about too is, as our world champion of public speaking from 2002, Darren LaCroix shares, Toastmasters is where we come to practice and fail. So this is the place where we make our errors, where we learn from our errors and we grow from it. And what's important about that is several of you and even Erica in the beginning pointed out that this is meant to be a safe place for people to try things out. So I want to thank all of you for your participation and for what you've done. Now I'm going to shift a little bit and go into the Toastmaster Club itself. One of the most important components of a Toastmasters Club is also the officer team that's put together. You have a partial officer team already constructed, but you have a couple of roles that are open. And Erica, I don't know if you were going to address that more specifically, but I'm going to address what the officer roles are, not necessarily which ones are filled. But we certainly do know about Erica as president, that it's filled. We have a vice president of education, which does the scheduling of meetings and also people's assignments. We have a vice president of membership that helps bring members in. Vice president of public relations that obviously does what the name implies, puts information out for people. We also have a treasurer that keeps track of funds, club funds, as well as collection of dues. We collect dues twice a year in Toastmasters. Then we have a secretary that keeps track of meeting minutes and business that's conducted. So for instance, if we had a secretary today, that person would be keeping track of Lisa spoke, how long did she speak, Megan evaluated, how long did she evaluate, who was called on for table topics, how long did they speak, and then any business that might be otherwise conducted by the club. Then we also have a sergeant at arms, which would really be part of that role I did at the beginning of starting the meeting, starting it on time. And it's also a wonderful role for somebody who really wants to try practicing speaking at every meeting. In other words, the sergeant at arms gets to open the meeting. They can share a thought of the day. They can share a favorite quote. They can say, you know, today is National Taco Day, and I'm looking forward to not only enjoying this meeting, but having my taco after it. You know, it's just a little something that the sergeant at arms can do at every meeting. So for anyone who might be interested in just really practicing something every time you meet, that's also a good opportunity to do it in a very safe environment. The officers will actually learn a little faster than the other members because they're engaged in things for the club. So it's a wonderful growth opportunity. And we do provide training for those roles. So it's not just, once again, we don't throw people in the deep end of the pool and say, swim now, swim. We actually say, here's how you can swim. Try it out and see if it works for you. Everything we do in Toastmasters is also designed to be practice, as I said. We come to practice and fail. So no one is expected to be perfect at what they do. We had things that didn't happen today. Table topic speaker had master confirmed is not here. I don't know why, but life interferes with things. Megan didn't see the timer, but she wanted to add extra information. So was that a 2 to 3 minute evaluation? No, but it was perfect for all the information that it shared. We learned these things. We do these things. We practice these things. Diana, for her very first table topics, did 53 seconds. 7 more, it would have been a qualifying time. But there's nothing wrong with doing a 53-second table topics when you've never done it before. This is where we come to practice these things. This is wonderful. And I had probably the wrong Lily, but Lily Akamoto still jumped in and answered the question and gave us a wonderful answer based on her experience. So this is where we come to do it. And so we do encourage you. You're all interested in that, and we encourage you to do that. I'm going to introduce Erica in a moment. And one of the things all of you are going to be asked to do is complete a membership application. Now, in order for this to become a chartered club, we need a minimum of 20 members to be a chartered club, a minimum. That doesn't mean you can't have more, you can. The interesting thing about charter, when you're a charter member of a club, you are part of the club's history. You become the cornerstone of that club, the life of that club. No one else can ever be a charter member from that first moment. It's a real benefit. It's just real status symbol. And a lot of people take very great pride in being charter members of clubs. But what's most important is to be a participating member of a club, to actually be here participating, speaking, learning, and getting to know each other in this environment. So when they ask for membership applications, consider that. Take the chance of going ahead and saying yes at this moment, because it's not going to hurt you. And it's going to give you an opportunity to hopefully participate in that Toastmaster vision, where it gives you an additional impetus and skill set to move forward in any area of your life as you choose, because we teach those basic skills so that we can apply them everywhere in our life. That's my little spiel for the day. That's my information to you. But what I'd like to do is bring back Erica to share what she would like to share, so everybody has an information of how she would like to see the club move forward. So let's please bring back Erica Tamburo. There she is.
Thank you so much, Salazar. And before I get into everything, because I know everybody probably has a lot of questions, I wanted to say thank you to everybody for such a great introductory meeting. It was a lot of fun. And thank you to everybody who gave their first speech today and didn't know that they were going to be asked to do that. It was a fun meeting today. And Ansu, for the pitch, that was awesome. Let's see if I can. My next slide is that questions. I don't want them to get lost in the Zoom chat. So if you could send them directly to Aisha so that she can collate everybody so we don't miss any of your questions. Thank you. So I first wanted to go over member requirements, just to make sure that everybody understands that we do have a few requirements to be in the club. We require that everybody be a part of the Women in Product Facebook group. That's likely how you found us first to get here today. We are going to require a complete membership application, as Salazar just said. Club dues and applicable fees. And we require that everyone actively engage in the Toastmaster program, pick a project and complete at least one speech every 6 months. And we do have a attendance requirement that, greater than or equal to 50% attendance every term, which is 6 months. All right, so on to the specifics. Applications, we were going to share in Zoom chat, but we're having a little bit of problems sharing right now. So we will get them to you. Completed applications, please email them to WIPToastmastersClub.com or @gmail.com. So as Salazar mentioned, we are chartering and we will need 20 members in order to charter. There is a small chartering fee that's distributed across the charter members. This is a one-time only fee. We will announce that after we've collected all of the applications. So fees include a $25 membership fee, the $45 club dues, and the charter fee. If you would kindly send the fees to Lori via Venmo, that is how we are collecting fees. And the important dates are that applications are due in a week from now. Then we will figure out what charter fees are based on the number of applications we receive. Let you guys know what the fees are. The fees are due a week from then on November 1st, and we hope to be able to have a chartered club by November 6th. And our leadership positions that we have vacancies for, are Vice President of Membership, Secretary, Treasurer, and Sergeant at Arms. If you are interested, we invite you to attend our next leadership meeting on October 25th, and to please email and let us know that you're interested in these volunteer positions. Don't be shy. If you're looking to learn leadership skills, here's a chance for you to just jump in and start learning along with the rest of us. Oh, I do wanted to mention that Toastmasters International is providing us with many mentors. Ansu, you've met today. She's delightful to work with, and you guys will really like working with her. And we will have mentors assigned to us as well. So what's next? Next is our next meeting, applications, chartering, and our next meeting we're shooting for November 8th. And we hope to see you all there. And thank you so much. Now we're going to open up for questions.
There are no questions, just one question that just came in, how often the meetings will be. They will be every 2 weeks, and yes, they will be 10 a.m. PST on Sundays.
Hi, sorry, hi. My name is Shivarna. Thanks for doing this. This is amazing. I actually have a question. Do I put it on chat or do I just ask?
Just ask.
Okay, so I just opened the form. Where do we send the form to? The email ID that you just shared?
Yes, please fill out make a copy, fill out the form, and send it over to the email address WIP Toastmasters Club @gmail.com.
And this is Salazar. Just to be clear, my recommendation is you don't collect any fees till I have a chance to review your application. So
correct.
Then we can come back. Yeah.
Sure. So the applications, as Erica mentioned, the applications are due first, and then we, depending on the number of applications we get, and depending on a green signal from Salazar, we will let everybody know how much is the fees, and then we will collect the fees after that.
And we had a question, is the chartering requirement 20 members other than the officers? No, that includes officers. Yes, I will share that slide again. Thank you.
I have a question.
Sure, Lily.
Yes, if you become a member of this certain charter, you call it, can you be part of other Toastmaster club? And how does the fee work in case of that?
So I would refer to Salazar to answer that question.
So the simple answer, Lily, is yes, you can belong to many other clubs. There's no question about that. The new member fee is collected only one time for every member of Toastmasters. So you will never pay a new member fee again if you join another club. But each club will collect dues for that club. So when you pay the club dues here, you're paying for this club. If you join another club, you'll pay club dues for that club. And one of the differences is that here you pay, as a new club, you always pay 6 months in advance. If you were to join another club, the dues are prorated by the month you join until the next dues period. But other than that, you won't pay a new member fee again. You won't pay a charter fee, and you'll have to pay dues to the other club. But you can belong to as many clubs as you choose.
Sorry, you don't need to pay dual charter fee?
No, you don't pay. Charter fee is a one-time thing for starting a club.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
we're starting this club. So this is not a charter club, is just a club that's formed in agreement with Toastmasters International. Once a club is formed, you never pay a charter fee again. Once you've paid a new member fee, as long as you stay in Toastmasters, no matter how many clubs you join, you never pay a new member fee again.
Okay, thank you so much.
So we have some other questions coming up that the dues are due every 6 months. It's not monthly. They are for 6 months. And what level, somebody also asked, what are the levels of progress as part of this club? It will be based on the pathways that Toastmaster does recommend. We will probably cater a bit towards being specific to product, but it will be based on the pathways. Do all clubs meet at the same periodicity twice a month? We are not sure, probably not, but I'll refer to Salazar to answering this question. We will meet twice a month.
And the answer to that question is no. Clubs decide their frequency of weekly or bi-weekly as they choose.
I have 2 questions actually. The first question is how long are each of the meetings? And the second question, I'm wondering how you decide on the topics that you talk about in your speeches and how that's sort of decided and what the process is like.
Sure. So how long the meeting is, it's going to be an hour and a half, which is our guest right now. And we will see how it goes, but we are anticipating an hour and a half. And how topics are decided, the topics will be close to the product space. And they will be, we would encourage the speakers who would volunteer, probably about 3 speakers every meeting will speak. They will reach out to me as the VP of Education to see if those topics, if you have a topic, you can suggest and send it over to me for review. If not, then I can have some product specific topics sent out if you want to take a look at that.
And how far in advance do you commit to speaking?
As long as you need. What we can do is take if you would like a month to speak is what I would say. We haven't talked about this as a leadership team yet on how far enough you can sign up, but we can talk about it. But I would say if a month should be, if you don't want to speak at the next meeting, but want to speak at the meeting after, that should be fine. But we'll talk about it and we'll let you know in the group.
Great. Thank you.
Great questions.
Lori pointed out a small typo I have, that the new member fees are 20 and not 25. Sorry about that.
Wasn't that the extra $5 that comes to me?
We did have one more question I think might have got stuck in the chat. So Alyssa asked, is there more information we can get on the leadership positions to better understand the commitments required?
So what we can do is we can post it in the group, in the Facebook group, so that you can take a look at the positions.
So we have 4 things we'll share with everybody. This info slide we will share again. The application, there's going to be a video recording of today, and that position list.
Correct. Lori, you want to take the next question?
Yeah, so the question in the chat from Jennifer is, would it be possible to use PayPal for collections dues? I think we can use PayPal as well. I'll double check just to make sure. And if we can, then we will make sure that the pay fees slide that we have up right now gets updated with some PayPal information as well. So you can choose Venmo or PayPal.
Thank you, Lisa, for that tip. When you become a chartered member of this club, you can put it in your LinkedIn profile too. Thanks, Lisa. If you have any questions, I know we're running up against time a bit. If you have any questions, you can ask now or send us an email at WIP Toastmasters Club @gmail.com.
What a great job you all did.
All right, so our next meeting is going to be November 8th. We really, really hope to see you there. And there are a couple of milestones we have to cross until then. So could you get your application fees, get your applications in, get your fees in, let's get this club chartered and let's get rolling.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you. Great job, everybody. And good luck. What a great club this will be.
Thank you, Megan.
See you all online.
Thank you, ladies. Thanks for everything. And I'll send some information to you just as a little follow-up, so you can use it or not use it as you choose. But thanks for all the great organizing.
And thank you, Salazar, for putting this together. I know you were super busy this week, but we really, really appreciate this.
Oh yeah, but you guys did, I think as you told me in one of our early meetings, this is women in product. We know how to do this. We got this. And you do. So thank you so much. You made it easy. So we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Lori, you want to stop recording?